Eye contact is one of the most powerful forms of human communication, and when combined with the practice of semen retention, it becomes an even stronger force. Men who practice retention often notice a transformation in their presence, and this shift is most visible through their eyes. Instead of restless or distracted energy, their eyes begin to radiate clarity, intensity, and calm strength. Women, in particular, pick up on this difference almost instantly. It is not simply about looking at someone. It is about the energy behind the look. A man on retention has conserved life force within him, and this inner vitality naturally flows into his gaze. Women sense this magnetic power and often find themselves unable to look away, not because of the physical eyes alone, but because of the aura of discipline and control reflected through them. When a man's gaze carries depth, it creates both intrigue and safety, two things that spark attraction at the deepest level. The reason eye contact feels so powerful on retention is tied to the biological and psychological changes happening inside the man. Semen retention increases testosterone, boosts dopamine regulation, and sharpens mental focus, all of which contribute to confidence and stability. The eyes become more still, less shaky, and more commanding because the mind itself is more grounded. Instead of scattering his attention across distractions, a man practicing retention projects single-pointed focus, and this is reflected in the firmness of his eye contact. Women interpret this as strength, reliability, and emotional stability. In a world where many men avert their eyes, struggle with insecurity, or carry restless energy, the man who can hold a calm, steady gaze stands out immediately. It signals self-mastery, and women instinctively respect and are drawn to that. This kind of presence cannot be faked. It is cultivated from within, and retention amplifies it in a natural, undeniable way. Another reason women can look away is that the eyes of a man on retention often radiates what can be described as life energy or this inner energy, instead of being depleted through constant release, builds up and expresses itself outwardly, often making the eyes appear brighter, clearer, and more alive. Women are highly intuitive when it comes to reading subtle cues of vitality and health, and the eyes are one of the most important indicators of this. When a man's eyes shine with vitality, it communicates that he is healthy, strong, and full of life force, all traits that women unconsciously associate with protection and leadership. Beyond attraction, there is also a feeling of safety. A man whose gaze is rooted in inner strength and self-control does not come across as needy or predatory. Instead, his eyes communicate calm authority, and women feel they can trust that presence. The magnetism of retention shines through in the gaze, creating a quiet but undeniable pull. Eye contact on retention also has a psychological effect on women because of the emotions it stirs within them. When a man with strong presence locks eyes, women often feel seen in a way that is rare and profound. This depth of attention can be disarming, making them feel both vulnerable and intrigued. The calm confidence in his gaze communicates that he is not desperate for approval, yet he is fully aware of his power. This balance of self-assurance and grounded masculinity creates a dynamic where women feel safe enough to lower their guard, but also fascinated enough to stay engaged. It's not just physical attraction, it is the sense of emotional depth behind the eyes. Women can tell when a man is empty, scattered, or weak, and they can just as easily recognize when a man is filled with energy, direction, and purpose. Retention fuels this purpose, and it radiates most clearly through the eyes. Furthermore, the discipline behind retention makes a man's eye contact different from others. To practice semen retention is to exercise control over one of the strongest biological urges. This discipline translates into how a man carries himself, and women read that discipline in his gaze. It tells them that he is not controlled by impulses, that he is a man who can master his desires, and that he is focused on higher goals. This inspires respect and trust. Women instinctively feel that such a man will not be easily swayed, distracted, or weak in moments of challenge. Eye contact, therefore, becomes more than just a physical act. It becomes a transmission of discipline, stability, and integrity. In relationships and social settings, women feel this difference and find it difficult to disengage. The eyes of a man on retention are windows into his controlled and elevated state of being, and this is rare enough to capture attention in any room. In conclusion, eye contact on retention is not just about looking deeply into someone's eyes. It is about the energy, discipline, and life force behind that gaze. Women can't look away because they sense something rare, a man who is not drained, not restless, and not desperate. Instead, they encounter presence, confidence, vitality, and a grounded masculinity that makes them feel both safe and intrigued. The brightness in the eyes, the calm authority in the gaze, and the depth of attention all combine to create a magnetic effect that words alone cannot explain. Retention builds this energy from within, and the eyes naturally become the channel through which it shines. This is why men who practice retention often notice that women respond differently to them, not because of tricks or superficial techniques, but because the power within has transformed their very presence. And it is through the eyes, more than anywhere else, that this transformation becomes visible and impossible to ignore. Before we conclude, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to drop your location in the comments. I'd love to know where you're rewatching from. And if you ever have any questions, join our Telegram channel, where we interact directly and help each other grow. The link is in the description.